Hello, and welcome to our space adventure. I am an astronaut, and I am about to take you on an exciting journey through space.
We will be traveling at light speed through some of God's most exciting creations. Please put on your spacesuit. We will be taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We don't have to go far for our first stop, planet Earth. This is the place we call home. Earth is located in the Milky Way galaxy. It only took 6 days for God to create the planet Earth. Did you know that there are 391,000 different types of plants? 8.7 million different types of animals, and 10,000 different types of birds that live on Earth. We are now arriving at planet Saturn. It is also located in the Milky Way galaxy. Saturn is the 6th planet from the Sun. It is made mostly of gases. The rings around Saturn are made from billions of pieces of ice that were formed. Saturn also has 62 moons that orbit around it. We are now flying through an asteroid belt. This belt is called the main belt. It is in our Milky Way galaxy. Asteroids are giant space rocks that go around the sun. The largest asteroid that we know is 600 miles across. The main belt is located between the planets Mars and Jupiter. Asteroid belts are made up of millions of space rocks. Hi, it's me again. I'm a human just like you. We live on planet Earth. God created us on the 6th day of creation. We were created in God's very own image. Adam was the first man created, which makes him the father of all people alive today. Look, we found a black hole. They are rare and hard to find. A black hole is a star that has died. It has gravity that is so strong that nothing can escape it. Black holes are invisible because they even suck up light. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, has a black hole in the center of it. We are now flying by our most popular star, the Sun. Did you know the Sun is a star? It is in the center of our solar system. The Sun is so large that 1 million Earths can fit inside it. It is so hot that the temperature can reach up to 15 million degrees. It takes 8 minutes for the sun's light to reach the Earth. Did you see that fly by? It's a comet. This is called Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet only comes by once every 75 years. Comets are ice balls, just like a snowball, mixed with rock. All comets orbit the sun, just like the planets do. The tail of a comet is created from ice dust and gases. Our space journey has come to an end. How much did you learn? Do you remember how long it took God to make the Earth? 6 days. Are you able to see a black hole? No. Black holes are invisible to the human eye. How many Earths can fit inside the Sun? The Sun is so large that 1 million Earths can fit inside it. What are comets made of? comets are made up of rock and ice.
Oh man, this gravity is amazing. I can float out here all day long. Well, maybe all night long. Hello, my fellow astronauts, and welcome to the wonderful, vast, cold void of space. And this week, we're launching a new month here at Ringo Kids, and I am over the moon about it. This month, we're finding out what it means to take on new adventures with initiative. Initiative is seeing what needs to be done and doing it. When you take initiative, that means you're ready for launch. You've made up your mind to boldly do what needs to be done, and you're always on the lookout for things around you where people need your help. And when you see them, you take care of them like it's nobody's business. It's amazing, isn't it? Some dirty dishes on the table? Don't wait for someone to ask you to take care of them. Pick them up and take them to the sink. Little bro having trouble with his math homework? You can stop what you're doing and offer to explain the problem and help him understand. You see, we can find one of the greatest examples in the whole Bible when we take a look at the life of a man named Nehemiah. Nehemiah made himself available to be used by God, and he took initiative to get things done. So hang out with us today as we see what it means to get things done. Hey, I think I'm gonna like this space thing. No gravity? Hey, I feel like I've lost a lot of weight. Wow, the sun out there is super bright. This is awesome.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. And you have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. And you have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Your fault, still your love fought for me. And you have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. And you have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
Hello, people of Earth! It's me!
Jacob!
Oh, there it is. That's how I... Nope, that's not it, Jacob. Okay. Okay. Nope, it's back on again. Okay.
And I am ready for launch. I mean, not really. I don't actually have a rocket or anything, but I am ready for initiative. Initiative is seeing what needs to be done and doing it. Astronauts are really great at showing initiative. When they see what needs to be done, they don't just ignore it, they do something about it. They even have this thing they do before every launch. It's called a status check, and it works like this.
Rocket fuel, check.
Rocket fuel is a go.
Red switchy thing, check.
Red switchy thing. Red switchy thing is a go.
Power thrusters, check.
Power thrusters. Power thrusters are a gross. I can't check the power thrusters because somebody left a dirty sock here.
Well, can you move the dirty sock?
I mean, I could, yes, but it's not mine. I didn't leave it here. And so I don't think it's my job to move the sock. I suggest that we halt the launch until whoever left his sock here comes and gets it themselves.
Copy that. Holding launch for a dirty sock.
Good. Roger that.
I wonder how long I'm gonna have to wait for someone to come get this sock. Probably gonna be here for a while. You know what? Today's story is about a guy who saw something that needed to be done, and he did something about it, even though it wasn't his responsibility. Sounds like a great guy.
Will somebody come get this sock? It smells. Some people, am I right? Ugh.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of Nehemiah, chapters 1 and 2.
Over and over, the Israelites promised to be faithful to God. But over and over again, they turned away from Him. At last, God allowed enemy armies to take His people captive and carry them off to Babylon, nearly 1,000 miles away. After 70 years, God allowed some of His people to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. But back in Babylon, now part of Persia, the rest of the Jews had made lives for themselves. In fact, a Jew named Nehemiah had become quite important.
Greetings. I am cupbearer to the king.
A cupbearer was like a bodyguard who checked to make sure that no one poisoned the king's food or drink. Nehemiah was likely a trusted advisor.
Your Majesty, may I suggest the date pudding?
But though it was nearly 150 years since the Israelites had left Jerusalem, Nehemiah's heart was still in his homeland. When his brother Hanani returned from his trip to Judah, Nehemiah had a chance for some news.
Brother, how are the people left in Jerusalem?
Some are still alive, but they're having a hard time.
Oh no.
The wall of Jerusalem is broken down. The gates have been burned with fire. People are ashamed.
That's terrible.
A city without walls could never prosper. The people would always live in fear of being attacked.
I'm sorry to bring such bad news.
No, I'm glad you told me.
Dismayed, Nehemiah sat down and wept. He couldn't even eat for several days. Instead, he poured his heart out to God.
Lord, you are a great and wonderful God. See how your people are suffering. Please listen to me. I'm praying for the people of Israel. We Israelites have committed sins against you. We haven't obeyed the commands you gave to Moses.
Nehemiah reminded God of the promise he made to his people.
You said, if you people are not faithful, I will scatter you among the nations. But if you return to me, I will bring you back. Lord, please pay careful attention to my prayer. Give me success when I bring my request to King Artaxerxes.
For 4 whole months, Nehemiah prayed daily to God. He knew before taking action, he needed to listen and prepare. At last, he was ready.
Your Majesty.
Anyone who came before the king was supposed to appear happy. But for the first time, Nehemiah allowed his true feelings to show.
Oh, why are you looking so sad?
May you live forever? Why shouldn't I look sad? The city of my people has been destroyed, and fire has burned up its gates.
The king could have been annoyed and ordered Nehemiah to be punished. But God moved his heart.
Well, what do you want?
Nehemiah prayed silently for the right words.
Send me to Judah. Let me go to the city of Jerusalem. I want to rebuild it.
The king frowned and glanced over at the queen. At last he said,
How long will your journey take? When will you get back?
Precisely as many moons as are required.
Fair enough. Dismissed.
Nehemiah turned to leave, but he knew there was more he needed for the job.
If it pleases you, may I take some letters with me? I want to give them to the governors west of the Euphrates River. Then they'll help me to travel safely.
Done.
Oh, and a letter to the caretaker of the royal park? So he'll give me logs for the wall and gates and a house?
What next? A whole escort of army officers and horsemen?
That would be fantastic.
Fine. All of it. Get on with it.
God had given Nehemiah such favor with the king that he had everything he needed for his long journey to Judah. At last, Nehemiah had reached the city he dreamt of his entire life.
Jerusalem.
Though Nehemiah was overjoyed by the first glimpse of the city, it must have been difficult to see its crumbling, broken-down walls.
So much work to be done.
But Nehemiah didn't tell anyone his plan at first. On a bright moonlit night, Nehemiah snuck out with only a few others to see the full damage to the walls.
We have to know what we're up against.
Nehemiah traveled by donkey. With a few trusted friends, they left the city through the broken valley gate.
Let's head toward the Jackal Well.
At last, Nehemiah got a clear picture of the devastation. Jagged piles of rock lay everywhere. The gates were gone, with scorched, gaping holes in their place.
It's such a big job. Only God can do this.
Nehemiah circled what was left of the wall, heading up the Kidron Valley and at last returning through the valley gate. The next morning, he called together the priests and nobles and officials.
You know, I've come to visit my people in Jerusalem, but that's not the only reason I'm here.
Nehemiah gestured to the jagged remains of the wall, visible from where they stood.
You can see the trouble we're in. Jerusalem has been destroyed. Fire has burned up its gates.
Tell us something new.
Come on. Let's rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. Then people won't be ashamed anymore.
Well, I mean, that's something to consider if you think about this.
Our grandparents tried that years ago.
But God has been helping me. He gave me favor with the king. He'll help us complete the work. So who's in?
Well, me. I'm in.
Me too.
Let's start rebuilding!
God moved the hearts of the people to help Nehemiah, and together they began the gigantic job of repairing the walls and gates of Jerusalem.
You ever see a piece of trash on the ground and just walk by without picking it up because you didn't put it there? Or maybe someone didn't clean up after themselves when dinner was over? Do you just leave the messy dishes lying around? Do you ignore someone else's dirty sock? A lot of people see what needs to be done, but then don't do it because it's not their job. It's not their responsibility. But showing initiative means getting things done, not waiting for someone else to do it. That's what Nehemiah did when he started rebuilding the wall around Jerusalem. It's what Jesus did too. When he saw a need, he did something about it. He healed people who needed healing. He taught people who needed to learn. And Jesus took care of our greatest need when he died on the cross for our sins. So, if you want to show initiative, don't just see what needs to be done, do something about it. Do a status check. Do you see any dirty dishes? Dirty dishes. Oh! Dirty dishes. Cleared away. Check. Do you see any trash? Water bottle? Recycled. Check. Do you see a dirty sock?
Dirty socks cleared away, even though it's not my job. Check.
Here's the one thing to remember today. Don't wait for someone else to do what needs to be done. Initiative takes a lot of work for sure, but it's worth it. It helps you, it helps other people, and it helps the world. And maybe, just maybe, it can help the universe. I'll see you next time.
I don't know about you, but I want to be like Nehemiah. I want to look around so that I can see when something needs to be done, when something's wrong, or when someone needs my help. And I want to be brave enough to do something about it. You see, each of us will come across these kinds of situations every day. We'll find big ways and small ways that we can take initiative and lend a hand. And with God's help, we won't let those chances slip by, will we? We know that God is with us and that He can do big things through us. Think about Jesus and how He took the initiative to help. When Jesus saw the need, He did something about it. He healed people who needed healing. He taught people who needed to learn. And He took care of the greatest need when He died on the cross for our sins. Remember, don't wait for someone else to do what needs to be done. For Nehemiah, all it took was hearing about the broken down city walls of Jerusalem, and he found a way to get there and see it for himself. Then he encouraged and rallied the officials and the people to help rebuild the broken down walls. So, what does initiative look like for you? Maybe you see the trash needs to be emptied or that the living room needs to be swept. You might even think to yourself, oh, that is so gross. I hope someone else does it, right? We are all like that, aren't we? Well, that someone could be you. So don't wait for someone else to do what needs to be done. Our memory verse for this month is a great one that will help us remind us to take initiative. It's found in Colossians chapter 3, 23. It says this, work at everything you do with all your heart. Work as if you were working for the Lord. Wow. That really changes the way you look at things, doesn't it? If you work at everything as if you're doing it for God, that means you really want to do your best. That's the way we should live every day, with initiative. Hey everyone, this month is going to be a great way to be used by God as we put initiative to work in our lives. So I'll see you next week as we continue our series, Ready for Launch, all right? All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Hey there, I'm Lawson, and you look like you could use a little entertainment. So, I'm going to do something about that. Do you see this red and blue scarf? Ooh, well, not for long, because now it's green and yellow. Entertained? You should be. But I'm not stopping there. Nope. I have an extremely cool story for you from this girl Lena my cousin knows. Lena's mom is leaving for 3 days to help Aunt Chloe with her new baby. So, Lena and Dad have all kinds of fun things planned, like a movie marathon and upside down ping pong. But while they're eating dinner, Dad gets a text from work, an emergency text. Turns out he's gonna have to work all weekend? Lena's super disappointed, but Dad says she can play extra Marvin Wagon. So they stick the dinner dishes in the sink and get to work. Next morning's breakfast dishes go in the sink too. Also lunch and dinner. Lena tries to ignore the overflowing sink every time she comes into the kitchen for a snack. After all, filling the dishwasher is not on her chore chart, just unloading it. So, Lena gets back to the important stuff, like collecting as many silver mushrooms as she can. But by day 3, the sink is hard to ignore. In fact, it's threatening an avalanche. And this time, Lena can't look away. There's only one thing to do, because it's become a dish emergency. Lena rolls up her sleeves and gets down to business. She sorts, she rinses, she stacks, she scrubs, she dries, and as she puts the last dish away, she turns around again to see she has an audience. And Mom and Dad both turn to each other and say, "Did you tell her to do that?" And they both answer, "No." And Lena's like, "Well, somebody had to do it." And then they all do a 3-way high 15 and play upside down ping pong to celebrate. So kids, never get stuck in a dish avalanche. And do remember that initiative is seeing what needs to be done and doing it. Are you entertained? I thought so. So, see you next time. Catch you guys later. Ping pong. Get out of here. I missed that one. I missed that one too. Doesn't matter, I got the first 3. Bye.